Today we're going to talk about the changes in the new Glock 19 Gen 5. Now let's delve into the details of the new Gen 5.
Hey guys, here I am with my tactical sling from my surgery, so you'll see me with this for a little while. I wanted to join the video a little bit, help out with some of the technical details of this. Alright Kim, so let's get started.
So the first change is the nDLC finish on the barrel and the slide.
Yeah, the one thing you'll notice is that if you put this next to your Gen 4s or any other Gen, you'll notice that it's a lot darker. It's blacker. It's a blacker black. It's 50-50. I don't like it because it's very slick. Very, very slick. And if you're trying to do any type of press checks, even without cocking serrations up front, I can do that with pretty much any other Glock model. But this one, it's just very, very slick. I think it's going to be good for cleaning and maintenance. I didn't see an issue with the previous coating, but they say it's an improvement as far as its durability. So it's going to be darker and a little bit more slippery. So just expect that.
Another change they made that you left-handed shooters are going to enjoy is that they have an ambidextrous slide lock.
So it's on both sides of the gun, so that's a plus.
Another new improvement is the Marksman Barrel.
So the Marksman Barrel, they went from a polygonal rifling to a lands and grooves rifling, which is what 90% of all guns have been using all this time. They say that it's going to improve accuracy. I didn't see any issues with the previous models and their accuracy, but if it helps it, then by all means. I think that the gun is going to outshoot most shooters anyway, but any improvement's a good improvement. Let me just say this too as well. I'm not a Glock fan, as you guys probably know, and then what I mean by that is I'm not going to spend my money on this gun. Okay, that doesn't mean it's a bad gun. It's just that if I'm going to spend my own money, I'm going to spend it on a gun that I find, to me, that has the features and the values that I like. And why I wouldn't buy this gun, there's a list, which is important. It's important whatever gun you do choose, even if you like the Glock, and that's great. If you shoot it well, that's awesome. Just as long as you have a why behind it. Like, I like it for these reasons, and this is the reason I chose it, not just because Tactical Timmy told me it's the best gun out there. So just a little side note. Which also makes this a really honest review, because I don't really care one way or the other. I could care less if it's super awesome or it's not so great. It doesn't matter to me. All right, let's keep rolling.
Another change is we have a flared magwell.
And some people, you know, they like it and they hate it. And again, it's personal preference. What they don't like, for those that don't like it, is that the flaring at the very base, it rubs more on their body when they're carrying it, because this is the prolific carry gun of. And by the way, without question, this is the most popular 9mm handgun in existence. There's no argument there. But some people don't like it because that flare actually rubs on them more, and it's more of a nuisance to them. To me, it doesn't matter one way or the other. I do like that it seems to be a little thicker at the base now. It's a little bit more rigidity than the previous. All the Gen 4s and 3s, you can just take them and squeeze the base. They're really thin. So this gives it a little bit more rigidity, which I think is a definite improvement. The one thing I do want to point out, though, is the Gen 2 cutout here, which I understand why they did it. It's for helping with malfunctions. But Kim, grab the gun here. How would you go ahead and rip a magazine out of there? Okay, freeze. So our normal technique, or normal style, would be to grab the side of grab the magazine down there and rip it out. And that's taught everywhere pretty much. But in this case, how would you have to do it?
You have to grab it the other way.
Yes, you'd have to turn your hand. So that would either be something that you want to train and change, or you're going to change you're going to add something to the mag plate itself, which we'll talk about in a minute. I don't see that as an advantage personally. And if you want, go check Gen 2s. It's the same setup there. So it's very Gen 2-ish, which brings us up to our next change, which is the grip. So let's talk about the other Gen 2 change, I guess if you want to call it that, which is the grip itself.
So they removed the finger grooves that they had in the previous generation?
Yeah, so that's, I don't know. It's totally up to you. Whether you like the finger grooves or you don't like the finger grooves, they're gone now, going back to the Gen 2 style. And before you trolls jump on there and say, oh, you said it's exactly a Gen 2. No, I didn't. I just said that it is very Gen 2-ish. There are some changes that are going back to previous models, and it's undeniable, okay? And that might be great. Maybe that's what you wanted, especially if you're one of those people who remove the grooves anyway. One thing I want to point out, you'll notice that this has been stippled. That's the reason I have this gun. It's a client of mine who wanted the stipple job done to it, so that would be the only thing that's not stock about the gun.
Another change that they made was they made the floor plates larger to make it easier for you to grab them and rip them out if you needed to.
Yeah, and I don't have a magazine. I'm sorry. Again, this is not a gun that I've been shooting. Again, it was just for a stipple job, but they are a little bit larger in the front. which in conjunction with that cutout makes it easy to grab the magazine. They also did a major change to the magazine.
Oh, yes.
It's huge. Go ahead and tell them what that is.
The follower is orange.
It's orange.
It's orange.
Orange. So basically, if you look at the back of the window of a Glock magazine, the little witness windows, witness holes, yeah, when the follower is pushed down from the rounds, you'll see the little orange in there. Make it, I guess, easier to see, because evidently the brass or silver base of the rounds was not bright enough. So now we have that. So that's awesome. Okay. And yes, they fit all the same magazines from previous generations, so nothing's changed there. Well, why don't we go ahead and field strip it, and we'll take a look at some of the changes internally. And that's one of the things that I'm going to knock it on. You like how it?
I hate it.
It's really
It's
hard.
so hard to grab those little tabs. They're so small. They're always slipping out of
I'm
my
just
hand.
being honest. I don't like it. Why they can't just use a lever like most?
Do you like
companies?
it? Great, but I don't like it.
Yeah. But it's still the same. Nothing's changed there. So if you liked it, great. No bad news on that one. So let's go ahead and take the recoil spring out. Any changes with that?
So we got a longer spring. It won't fit your Gen 4.
Yep. You can't interchange them. I don't know about the 17s because I don't have one here. I think the 17s you can, but don't quote me on that. But for sure the 19 is longer, so that is not going to fit. One change I would like to see is a steel guide rod. I know you're going to be like, oh, mine's been working great and it's plastic. Okay, whatever. I think that the steel is an upgrade that they should definitely look into, but just my opinion. And there's the new Marksman Barrel, amazing in every way. It does have the coating on the feed ramp, which I would like to see Glock change more towards one of the other manufacturers like Springfield and M&P, where they're now having it more polished. And that's definitely going to be a reliability improvement. And I'm not saying the gun's not reliable, but that is a key critical point to getting the round from a magazine in the chamber is that feed ramp. So having it polished and high lubricity will definitely help. But they've been working for a long time really well, and they're very reliable the way they are. That would just be something I'd like to see changed. Other than that, the slide, there's only one real major difference there.
And that's with the plunger. We'll take a photo of it later so you can put it in there so you can see that the dimensions of it have changed.
Yeah, so they kind of cut the corners off, and if you will, on the front and the back, and that's to help with the enhancement of the trigger. So let's talk about that. The trigger's also been changed back to a more Gen 2 style with the single pin in there. Look, if you picked up the Gen 4 and shot it, and then immediately the Gen 5, you could tell a slight difference. So it's improved. Would I ever buy the gun because of that? No. And if you put any money whatsoever in your Gen 4, keep it. And actually, that's where I would draw the line. If you're kind of on the fence, do I go Gen 5? Here's the deal. If you have a bone stock Gen 4 and you put no money in it, then sure, what the heck? Why not? And if you put any money all, especially in the trigger, it doesn't make sense to go to a Gen 5 because it is not going to. This trigger is not going to make up for it. If you really didn't like the Glock trigger to begin with, this is not going to change your mind. But it is a little bit better than the previous model, so it's an improvement nonetheless. So let's go ahead and stuff it all back in there and put it back together.
So mechanically, it's pretty much the same except for the larger spring and the dimensions of the plunger.
The other thing that I'm going to say, and this is probably the only single category that the Glock fans will actually agree with me on, is the freaking sights. Please, for all things holy, get rid of the plastic sights and give some metal sights. They are enhanced, so to speak, by Glock. The bucket, the little square box in the back is a little different, and it's supposed to be made of a higher grade polymer. It's still plastic. Get rid of them. Put metal sights on the combat gun, okay? This is the most prolific 9mm CCW gun in the world. Put some metal sights on it, okay? From the factory. Other than that, that's all I really got on it. If you're a Glock fan, this is going to not disappoint you in any way. It's had some initial issues that they've supposedly been working on, as all models have and all manufacturers have that when they come out. But other than that, if you're on the fence, that would be my advice. It depends on how much money you have into it. You'll notice here, Kim, go ahead and grab it one more time, that this one has the medium backstrap on it. It has 4 different sizes, and so that's the medium. The customer wanted that, so we stippled it with it on the gun. So it's going to give you a little bit more of a tang in there. Without question, the Glock 19 is the most prolific 9mm highly sold gun on the planet. Nobody sells more 9mm as anything else other than the Glock 19. As a matter of fact, the M&P Smith & Wesson compact was designed to be the identical size. And actually, if you guys are interested, that is my carry gun. And we're going to compare it in another video coming up between the Glock 19 and the M&P compact, the M2.0. So, all right, Kim, so how do they get a hold of us or find us?
So, of course, you can find us here on YouTube. If you haven't already, please subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and we put all of our premium content on Patreon.
And one thing, you guys, I've been getting a couple messages about it. If you're not getting updates when we put videos out, there's a little bell next to the subscribe button. Make sure you click that. And then every time we put a video out, you can see it.
All right.
Nobody watches my videos, but Kim's videos anyway.
Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.